Critical fire danger threatens suppression efforts for fires across the region tonight.
4 teenagers accused of starting the destructive Roaring Lion fire last summer will not go to jail for it.
And the costs are adding up for Hurricane Harvey, which could be the most expensive natural disaster in U.S. history.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on KPAX, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Jill Valley.
And I'm Dennis Bragg. New fire starts a concern as thunderstorms move through the area, bringing lightning and gusty winds with them.
Our Storm Tracker weather team is closely monitoring a red flag warning that is currently in effect for our area, with hot and breezy conditions in the forecast again tomorrow. Tonight, storms brought some periods of lightning, gusty winds, and showers. We're getting scattered reports of possible new small fire starts tonight. However, the good news, some of the major fires weathered the changes without major flare-ups tonight. There was a lot of concern about the Lolo Peak fire spreading south near Florence, but conditions were relatively calm throughout the evening. Chief Meteorologist Aaron Yost has more on what is happening out there now. Aaron.
Yeah, the biggest concern are going to be new lightning started fires, and time will tell. Tomorrow's going to be a big day, I think, in the weather department. We're going to see some wind, likely kicking up these holdovers that we are undoubtedly seeing happening as we speak. Now, red flag warning is kind of a 2-day thing. Day 1 is pretty much over for the thunderstorm threat today. Tomorrow, windy and dry, hence the continuation of that red flag warning. A lot of us hoping to get rid of some of this haze, as you can see in downtown Hamilton. First Security Bank ICAM from earlier today, we might get some relief in the air quality department moving towards Thursday afternoon and evening and perhaps lingering into Friday. I've got a full update though coming up shortly.
The Missoula County Sheriff's Office placed 90 more homes under an evacuation warning due to rapidly changing fire activity at the Rice Ridge Fire near Seeley Lake. The current warning area includes both sides of Highway 83 north from Tamarack Resort to Beargrass, extending to Beargrass Lane, Loon Lane, and Camp Creek. Also under an evacuation warning are residents on both the north and south sides of Boy Scout Road to the Fawn Creek intersection. Authorities report 1,000 homes and buildings are covered by this mandatory evacuation order. A fire information center is set up between Corey's Valley Market and the Wilderness Gateway Inn in Seeley Lake. This fire has grown to 32,000 acres and is 18% contained.
Down to the Bitterroot, Ravalli County Sheriff Steve Holton says 65 homes remained under mandatory evacuation orders in Ravalli County due to the 150-acre Nelson Creek fire. It's burning between Darby and Sula off the West Fork. Here's a map showing those areas. The specifics are on our website. Holton says due to windy conditions and the potential for dangerous fire behavior, there's no access into the Nez Perce Road area now. Fire officials will evaluate that access again tomorrow morning.
Fire managers say they're battling 15 new lightning-sparked fires in the Plains area after dry thunderstorms moved through the region yesterday. The largest of that is in Sanders County, and it's the Sheep Gap Fire. Authorities are issuing pre-evacuation warnings for 50 homes in the Plains area on River Road West. Fire prevention technician John Hamilton tells KPAX the fire has burned 250 acres as of tonight. The Sheep Gap Fire was first spotted around 5 o'clock yesterday night west of Plains. The fire is located 9 miles outside Plains, just south of Highway 200. More than 50 people are fighting this. No structures are currently being threatened by the fire. Hamilton says the Department of Natural Resources and Conservation is also managing the McCully Ridge Fire in the Thompson River drainage. It has burned about 15 acres. Crews on that fire are working to protect a few summer homes that are in the area.
Employees at the Lake McDonald Lodge and Glacier National Park say they're heartbroken over the decision to close the doors of the iconic lodge early this season. First time that's ever happened. As
MTN's Nicole Miller reports, Xanterra and the park decided they had to get employees out because the smoke from the Sprague fire was just too dangerous.
Everyone's pretty heartbroken about the fact that we had to close due to the air quality. You know, many people save up for a long time to bring their families to Glacier and kind of have that epic holiday experience.
Unfortunately, their plans have been altered. Wildfire smoke from nearby fires has closed Lake McDonald Lodge for the season.
The park is actually getting smoke from a couple different sources. Here at Lake McDonald Lodge, the closure that Xanterra decided to put in place is really because of the localized smoke coming from up the hill just a couple miles away at the Sprague fire.
An air quality monitoring station was just installed at the lodge.
Initial readings indicate that air quality levels are fluctuating between good and hazardous.
We've been monitoring the air quality every hour. Unfortunately, now that we've had the opportunity to review the data, it's showing that about 12 hours out of every 24-hour period, the air quality is at very unhealthy or above.
The hazardous air quality is a big concern for the safety of employees who live on site and have a longer duration of exposure to the air conditions.
There's a tendency in the evening when the temperatures cool down, that smoke sinks down into the valley, and then it tends to sit here on the lodge at night and into the next morning.
Employee Samuel Hicks, who manages food and beverage, says it's been most difficult on the foreign employees, but remaining safe and healthy is most important.
A lot of confusion with our J1 and exchange students. You know, they're not too sure what they're going to do, but sad, happy. Everybody's going to miss each other. Nobody wants to really leave all their friends they've made here all summer because this place is home. And I know a majority of our employees really want to come back next year already.
Reporting in Glacier National Park, Nicole Miller, MTN News.
Now, that lodge was completely booked through September. Lodge officials say some of the employees will be able to transfer to jobs in other parts of East Glacier and to Yellowstone National Park. Fire crews quickly got a handle on a 600-acre lightning-sparked grass fire at Pistol Creek south of St. Ignatius today. This one's called the Upper Midway Fire, and Confederated Salish and Kootenai fire crews already have a line around the whole thing after an aggressive air attack this afternoon. It started just after 2 o'clock close to the Pine Haven School, about a mile and a half away, but the wind shifted away from that facility and did not cause any evacuations.
No jail time for the 4 teens who started last summer's massive Roaring Lion fire near Hamilton. Cody Nez, Stephen Banks, and Tyler Johnson were each charged with negligent arson for starting a campfire which was left unattended and ignited that blaze last July 31st. Charges against another young woman were dismissed. The fire destroyed 16 homes and cost over $9 million as it burned for weeks across 8,500 acres out of Hamilton. Under the plea deal offered by prosecutors, the trio are given 5-year deferred sentences, but also ordered to perform 100 hours of volunteer work for the Forest Service, plus 10% of their annual salaries will go toward restitution for the next 5 years.
The state budget picture is not improving, and now Governor Steve Bullock is asking agencies to submit plans to cut up to 10% of their budget. The governor's budget director made the formal request to all state agencies today and wants those plans by next Friday. Dan Villa says the state needs to cut $227 million from its $4.6 billion budget to get things back into balance. He says ballooning firefighting costs and bad tax revenue estimates are to blame for the budget shortfall. Villa says Democrats warned last session that the budget needed more money, but that majority Republicans refused to consider tax increases on the wealthy. Governor Bullock will decide in October where exactly to make those cuts.
A Missoula bomb squad called to Stevensville this afternoon after a resident found what she thought was dynamite in her garage.
As MTN's Eric Clements reports, the truth was much less explosive, though Stevensville law enforcement treated the incident with caution.
Evacuated from their homes for nearly 3 hours at the request of the Stevensville Police Department after one woman found what she thought was a stick of dynamite while cleaning out her garage.
It was one of those situations where she just came across it and said, you know, I better call somebody and find out what this is for sure.
The homeowner made that call just before 3:30 Wednesday afternoon. Law enforcement arrived on scene and proceeded with extreme caution.
We don't get calls like this very often here in Stevensville, certainly in public safety. It's easy to probably downplay this type of an incident, but safety is the priority for both police and fire departments, and that's why we've cleared the perimeter that we have in order to help keep our neighbors safe.
The perimeter encompassed about a 300-foot radius around the suspected explosive. Homeowners within that circle were asked to leave until the situation was resolved. A bomb squad with the Missoula County Sheriff's Department arrived at around 5:30, and it was determined that the stick was in fact an explosive, but it wasn't dynamite.
And it turns out it was a blasting product that is used to clear roads, do different things like that. So it's not actual dynamite, it's a derivative of some sort.
In fact, the explosives experts on the scene said the stick was so old they'd be surprised if it could even detonate. Still, the bomb squad took it away for proper disposal. In Stevensville, Eric Clements, MTN News.
Bomb crew remained on the scene afterwards to make sure no other explosives were hidden away in that garage. Well, still ahead, Aaron has more about this red flag warning that's still in place and what we're in for tonight.
Plus, the damage for Hurricane Harvey is hard to imagine. Up next, an update on how much it's going to cost to clean up after this massive storm. That's coming up on KPAX.